Glory to God the Father and Son Yeshua Mashiach. 1 Kings chapter 12. The request to Rehoboam. Rehoboam went to Shechem, where all Israel had come to proclaim him king. When Jeroboam the son of Nevat heard of it, for he was still in Egypt, where he had fled from Shlomo, so Jeroboam was living in Egypt. But they sent and summoned him. Jeroboam and the whole community of Israel came and said to Rehoboam, "Your father laid a harsh yoke on us. But if you will lighten the harsh service we had to render your father and ease his heavy yoke that he put on us, we will serve you." He said to them, "Leave me alone for 3 days, then come back to me." So the people left. The foolish response of Rehoboam. King Rehoboam consulted the older men who had been in attendance on Shlomo his father during his lifetime and asked, "What advice would you give me as to how to answer these people?" They said to him, "If you will start today being a servant to these people, if you will serve them, be responsive to them and give them favorable consideration, then they will be your servants forever." But he didn't take the advice the older men gave him. Instead he consulted the young men he had grown up with, who were now his attendants. He asked them, "What advice would you give me, so that we can give an answer to these people who said to me, 'Lighten the yoke that your father laid on us'?" The young men he had grown up with said to him, "These people who said to you, 'Your father made our yoke heavy, but you, make it lighter for us,' here's the answer you should give them: 'My little finger is thicker than my father's waist.' Yes, my father burdened you with a heavy yoke, but I will make it heavier. My father controlled you with whips, but I will control you with scorpions." So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the 3rd day, as the king had requested by saying, "Come to me again the 3rd day." And the king answered the people harshly, abandoning the advice the older men had given him. He addressed them according to the advice of the young men and said, "My father made your yoke heavy, but I will add to your yoke. My father controlled you with whips, but I will control you with scorpions." So the king didn't listen to the people, and that was something Adonai brought about, so that he could fulfill his word, which Adonai had spoken through Achiah from Shiloh to Jeroboam the son of Nevat. The revolt of the northern tribes. When all Israel saw that the king wasn't listening to them, the people answered the king, "Do we have any share in David? We have no heritage in the son of Yishai. Go to your tents, Israel. Care for your own house, David." So Israel left for their tents. But as for the people of Israel living in the cities of Yehudah, Rehoboam ruled over them. King Rehoboam then sent Adoram, who was in charge of forced labor, but all Israel stoned him to death. King Rehoboam managed to mount his chariot and flee to Jerusalem. Israel has been in rebellion against the dynasty of David to this day. On hearing that Jeroboam had returned, all Israel summoned him to the assembly and proclaimed him king over all Israel. No one followed the dynasty of David except the tribe of Yehudah. When Rehoboam arrived in Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Yehudah and the tribe of Benjamin, 180,000 select soldiers, to fight the house of Israel and bring the rulership back to Rehoboam the son of Shlomo. But this word from God came to Shemaiah the man of God. "Speak to Rehoboam the son of Shlomo, king of Yehudah, to all the house of Yehudah and Benjamin and to the rest of the people. Tell them that this is what Adonai says: You are not to go up and fight your brothers the people of Israel. Every man is to go back home, because this is my doing. They paid attention to the word of Adonai and turned back, as Adonai had told them to do. The sin of Jeroboam. Then Jeroboam built up Shechem in the hills of Ephraim and lived there. After that, he left and built up Penuel. Nevertheless Jeroboam said to himself, "Now the rulership will return to the house of David. For if these people continue going up to offer sacrifices in the house of Adonai in Jerusalem, their hearts will turn back to their lord, Rehoboam king of Yehudah. Then they will kill me and return to Rehoboam king of Yehudah." After seeking advice, the king made 2 calves of gold and said to the people, "You have been going up to Jerusalem long enough. Here are your gods, Israel, who brought you out of the land of Egypt." He placed one in Beit El and the other in Dan. And the affair became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one in Beit El and all the way to Dan to worship the other. He also set up temples on the high places and made Kohanim from among all the people, even though they were not descended from Levi. Jeroboam instituted a festival in the 8th month, on the 15th day of the month, similar to the festival held in Yehudah. He went up to the altar in Beit El to sacrifice to the calves he had made, and he placed in Beit El the Kohanim he had appointed for the high places. He went up to the altar which he had set up in Beit El on the 15th day of the 8th month, in the month which he had chosen on his own, and instituted a festival for the people of Israel. He went up to the altar to burn incense.